Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about how to create a simple to-do list application in Jetpack Compose. So in this video, we are just going to use the Jetpack Compose and we'll be creating a runtime list of to-dos, and we are creating all types of CRUD operations: create, read, update, insert, delete, all types of operation we are going to do on that to-do list. So it will be a simple application, but it will definitely help you to concrete your understanding how to handle things in a Jetpack Compose. So let's jump to Android Studio and see. So yes, I'm in an Android Studio project, and let's first see what we are going to build. So this is the application, this type of application will be going to do, and this will be a list of tasks or to-do items, you can see. So this is the task one. You can check this or uncheck this. Once you are checked that you have completed this to-do item, and you can also edit and delete this. So you can also click on the edit. The task one will automatically created, and we can rename this as a task 2 and click on update, and this will be automatically updated here. And if you want to delete, we can also click on this delete, and confirmation message will be displayed. If we click on the list, it's gone. And you can also add a new to item with the help of this floating action button. Let's say we add task 3. Yes, task 3 is there, and task 4 is also there. We can create unlimited number of tasks with this in this application. So this is the type of application we are going to build, and this is the UI. This I have kept this very much simple so that the understanding is the main motto behind this tutorial. So this is all we are going to do with the help of Jetpack Compose. So let me now minimize the emulator, and let's start coding. So in this tutorial, if we want to build such type of application, then you can see this is a one some type of we will need some multiple values for each of the task items. So for that, we generally use a data class. So the same thing we are going to implement here as well. We will be using a data class where it will have a first one title of the task, and then the state of the this is it is if it is checked or unchecked, this, and the third thing will be an id to identify it uniquely. So for that, let's create a new data class, new class file. I'll name it as a to do item, make it as a data class. I will make first as a id, and we'll keep id as a long. We'll be using system time to assign the ids, so that we want to make sure that each id is a different and unique. Another one is to do title. It will be of type string, and then the third one is completed. If task is completed, it will be a boolean value, and of course at the starting it will be false. So I'm initializing it by default as a false, so we don't need to pass it at the time of adding a new item. So yes, now we have our to do class, to do item data class is ready. And yes, now we are going to implement this list of for this task or items. So as we have a list, then of course we need a column, but we'll be using an optimized version of the column, that is a lazy column. So let's create a list of items for this one. I'll create a list where to do item list equal to mutable list of uh, to do item, or instead we'll need this as a under remember a block, and inside this we will be not using this mutable list, we'll be using mutable state list of, and then it will be to do items. So yes, now let me add a sample one to do item here, so that we should be able to see that. And let's assign it id as a 1l, title as a task 1, and then okay, we don't need to pass a third parameter here. Okay, sorry, it's not a title, it's a to do title. Okay, so yes, now we have this list of to do items is ready. Whatever the items will be further adding will be added to this same list. Now let's design this layout. For designing this, we first need a column. Before that, we can just use a scaffold. So in the scaffold, we can just write a modifier. The modifier dot fill max size, and this scaffold gives us a inner padding, and now we can just write a lazy column. So lazy column will again pass a modifier modifier dot yeah, of course fill max size, and also we'll add this padding dot padding and then inner padding. Okay, now we have this lazy column, but this lazy column will require a layout. So for this we'll using these items, and we'll be using this item index iteration of the list. So the list we currently have is a to do item list. So let me just create to do item list, and we get two parameters here. First one is a index, and second is an item. Let me hover on this one. Yeah, if we hover on item, so it is of a to do item. Okay, and this is an index. Okay, so we are good with this one. Item index. So we are inside the lazy column, so we just need to design this type of layout. So if we consider this first layout, only one layout, then this is actually a row, and whenever there is a items arranged in horizontal style, then we generally use a row here. So let me put a row here. For the row it will be also same modifier, but it will have fill. Okay, yeah, fill max width. Okay, and another thing is I'll be setting it a vertical alignment, so that all the items should be aligned in the center vertically. Okay, so these items can be arranged, but in order to arrange this item just the way they are looking, so that this checkbox and title should have enough space to display, and this edit icon and trash delete icon should occupy only the space how they need. So for that I'll be creating a two rows. This is a complete full row, and second row I am going to create is for this checkbox and this title. So let me create a checkbox here. Sorry, I have to create here, and for this one as well I'll put this vertical alignment. Okay, now I'll put this checkbox here. So checkbox needs two things: value. Checkbox is checked. Sorry, not is checked. And the second one is what happens if we once we click on that checkbox. So checked should come from item. So item dot is completed. If it is completed, then it should be checked. If it is not completed, it will be left unchecked. So, and after this one, we'll have another attribute as a on check change. So these two are mandatory values, and we get a new value here after the interaction has been happened. So on check change, okay, we'll get a new value. Okay, now we want to implement what happens when we click on this checkbox. So if we click on this one, it is getting checked. If we again click on this one, it getting unchecked. So to get this behavior, what we want to change a value inside the specific item. We want to change this is completed to true, and true. If it is a true, then we want to it to happen to false, and a vice versa. We want to do it, but how we can do it? If we directly do it like this one, to the list of items and index, because we already have an index here, and equal to or dot, we have this is completed equal to let's say new value. So yeah, the quick approach we come to our mind is assigning directly this var, and for this we cannot do this because it is a var. If we change this var, then it's allowed, but this is a very bad practice and it is not recommended at all. So, and in this video I will be showing you all the recommended things you want to build this application in recommended and industry practice based practices way. So that's all I am going to do. And there can be another approach where we can just use this index. So for that, what we need to do, if we just use this index and assign a new value, then if we are not deleting any item, updating the item, adding new item, then it should have been fine. But if as we are adding new item, deleting older items, then this we cannot rely on this index itself because this index can change. So we want to get the, so that's why we have introduced this id. So on the basis of the id we will be extracting the index of the specific item, and then we will be doing the things with that index. So let me code and then I'll explain. So we'll first get take as a val updated item equal to we have this item, we are getting this item from here, okay, and we are using the same item. We will be creating a copy of this item dot copy. In this, what we want to change, that is a is completed state, is completed to this new value, whatever the value we will be getting, we want to set it as a new value, and other parameters will remain the same. So this is a copy of the same item with this updated checkbox instance. We have this updated item. Now we want to update this list with this specific at the specific index, so that Jetpack Compose will know that there is a change and it will re-render it. So let's get, well, item index equal to we are getting an item index explicitly. Why we are doing that, I will be explaining in a moment, just be with me. Item index, so how we can get item index, we will be using to do item list dot index of first, and here we will use it dot id equals item dot id. Okay, so after getting this, we will get an index of this exact this item, because let's say this is a task at 5. If I created a task 6, if I add this one, then currently it has an index of 0 and it has an index of 1. If I deleted this task 5, then this task will now have an index as a 0, and if we just directly refer this index, then we'll be checking another item. So our app will not behave correctly, it will misbehave. That's why we are extracting the index from, we are just using the list, we are extracting the index of first, where by comparing the ids, if current whatever the item currently we have, we are comparing each and every item in present in the list with the help of their ids, and then this function will help us to get the id of the specific item, at which item the id is. And now if we direct use the item index here, uh, it will make a create a bug in our application. And if we use such a mechanism, then it will now return us a proper zero index of this one, and then this item index will be automatically correct to 0, and this specific item will be updated. This index will just allow this just tells us what the item, where the item is, but we don't know where we want what the item is, because we want to deal with a specific item. So this difference between where and what is it plays a major role. So that's why we have created such a mechanism to get the index. Okay, now why I have, okay, now I just want to get a to-do list, to do item list of where this is the index, item index, and there I am just assigning this updated item. Okay, now it will be, now this list will be item at this position in the list will be replaced with this new updated item, and the Jetpack Compose will know and it will re-render. Okay, so one question might arise, why I haven't done like this one. To the item list dot is completed. I had earlier I have told just few minutes ago I have tried doing that, but we need to make a changes, and I that time I told you that I will be explaining it in a moment. So what why it might not work? So Jetpack Compose is a highly optimized framework. So if we this is the list and this is the specific item. If we alter any of the properties inside this item, then Jetpack Compose might not know, it might not recognize if there are any changes happened in this list, and the list will remain the same. This will change internally, but it will not be reflected on the UI, because Jetpack Compose will compare some IDs internally, this ID with the this ID with previous ID with the new one, and if it doesn't see any difference, these IDs are we can just call it as just like a containers. If the container is the same, if we are just changing the values inside this both of this container, new and old one, then for the Jetpack Compose it is just a same item, and that's why it will not recompose, because for that Jetpack Compose will only recompose if if it sees there is a difference in these containers. Now, by creating a copy of this item, we are creating a new item with the separate ID. And by doing this one, we are replacing the item, we are replacing the whole container at this place with this new container. And as soon as this happens, then Jetpack Compose easily at the instance recognizes that okay, this container, this item has been changed, and it updates the list with this new item. So that's how Jetpack Compose works, and that's why we have to do all of this one. If you try doing it directly, it might work at sometimes, but it is not a reliable solution, and I don't recommend at all doing it like that. Okay, so this is the recommended approach to do. So on check change we are going to do this. Pretty much explanation happened here, I know, but it is important. So after the checkbox we have this text composable, not a text button, just a text composable. Okay, and this text will have item dot to root item. So this is the task, this is the text composable I am talking about. And okay, and for this row we will need modifier dot weight 1f. So for the another two icons, I am just going to create this icon. We will be using this vector image vector variant icons dot default dot edit, and content descriptions will be edit to do, and we'll also want to make this clickable. So I'll use a modifier here, modifier dot clickable. After clicking on this edit icon, whatever will happen will be we'll be writing a code here. So I will just copy this icon again and just replace this with a delete to do, sorry. And yes, now we have, and now we have this total 3 items in this row, these 2 icons, and this whole row is a third item. So if I want to this row to expand fully up to the length it requires, then that's why I am just putting this weight, so that take up it will take up the whole remaining space, and these two icons will take up only the space enough that they need. So, and that's how we'll achieve this type of layout. Now at this point of time, if we just run our application, this is an older application, let if I just run this, then the previous application will be automatically uninstalled. Okay, now this our new application is now running. So this is the task one. If I just click on this checked, yeah, checkbox, yeah, it gets checked and it gets unchecked as well. So now these two functionalities are not working for as of now because we haven't implemented anything yet, and this floating action button is gone because we no longer have the code inside this scaffold. So that's why we can confirm that this is our new application. So yeah, this is now currently working, and it is now showing us this this to do item. Okay. Okay, now we are now going to implement a add functionality here. So for the add functionality, we want to create a custom dialog. So let's create a composable function separate here. Add add to do dialog. Okay, and here we'll be using an alert dialog, but will be not be using this traditional Android app alert dialog. We'll be using this one, which comes from Compose. So it requires two mandatory parameters on dismiss request and confirm button. Okay, so we won't need this modifier. Okay, uh, on dismiss request, so if that is dismissed, then what should happen? All the functions we will be defining here, we are not going to handle anything here because we are outside the scope of this class itself. So we are just bubbling up the events after the click events. So what I'll do something like this one. On dismiss request, I'll take a one lambda function here on cancel. Sorry, unit. Okay, on cancel, and I'll call this function here on cancel, so that whatever the implementation we want to provide, we can just pass this as a lambda function and it will happen. On cancel, on and confirm button, we want to design we have to design a confirm button here. So I'll use a text button here. On click, and the text button will have a text composable as a add. Okay, and another thing is we want to give a title to this one. So the title of the dialog box, it will also be a simple text composable as a add to do. After that, we also want to design a one custom text field, so that we should be able to get input from the user the task title for the new to do item. So for that, we can just use this text composable. So this text composable means the basically you can consider it as a body of the other dialog, and I'll define here a outline text field. It requires two things. First one is a value, and second one is a on value change. So for the value, we'll need some string here, that is a not a task to do title. It will be of type string, and I'll assign this to do title to this one. On value change, so on value change, after user starts typing on the new outline text field, then constantly this function will get triggered, and it will give us this new value after typing whatever the new value is in the text field. We'll get this value here. So we also want to bubble up this on value change event, so we'll just create another function called as a on title changed. Okay, and we'll be call this function here on title changed. Fine. Here we can also give a hint, or we can use a label, not a hint, it's a label. It is also text composable called as a to do title. Okay, so yes, I think our dialog is now ready. On cancel, on title changed, yeah, on click, on the confirm button, if the user clicks on add, then what should happen? We also want to bubble up that event as well. On add clicked. on add clicked. Here we'll call this on add clicked. Okay, and yes, our dialog is now ready. And so how we show a dialog in a compose? If we don't know that, we just use a simple technique of a state here. For that one, we'll be creating some type of state, a boolean variable, which will, if we set it as a true, then this dialog will be shown. If we set it as a false, then this dialog will not be shown. Okay, so we want to create a state for that, where show add dialog, show add to do dialog by remember, and we'll be using mutable state of, it will be initially as a false, so it will automatically recognize it as a it will be a mutable state of boolean. Let's import this extension. Okay, so add true dialog. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing we want to do for now, for the adding. And then inside this lazy column, we will be just outside this lazy column, we'll be just calling this, we'll just call this add true dialog, and we'll call this show add true dialog. If this variable is a true, then only we will call this function add to dialog. Okay, now we need to implement all the functions here: on cancel, on title changed, on add clicked, and to do title. So yeah, all the things we want to pass it here in order to call this one. So to do title, whatever the title we want to uh, assign to this to title, so that it should be automatically updated, this we have to create a state for this title. So let's create a new state for this title. This title, I am talking about the new item, new to do item. And for that, whatever the title we are going to enter, that we want to create it as a new global variable. Well, to do title by remember be mutable state of empty. So yeah, now we have this to do title, and we will just assign this to title here. Okay, so yes, and on title change, in the add to dialog, we have this on value change, we are getting this new value. So we'll be passing this new value in the on title changed function, so that this value also be get bubbled up in the in the function. So in the and on title change, we'll have this function signature just like this. And here we'll get that value, we'll get that new value. Yes, so as soon as we get this new value, what we want to do, we want to update this global variable, global state with the new state. So for that, we'll just write to do title equal to new value. Okay, this to do title is a var, so we want to count it as a var so that it should accept modifications. Let's import this again. Okay, now it will update the item, update the value. On add clicked, don't worry if you are not getting everything. Once we complete this add function, I'll be explaining this everything. And on add clicked, so on clicking on the add button, what we want to do, that we want to show here. So the first thing we want to do is call this to do list and click on add, sorry, to do list dot add. We want to add a new item, simple. What we want to do, we want to add a to do item. So just pass some parameters here. We want to pass id as a system generator, system dot current time we want the id to be unique for each and every item, so that's why we are using a current system time. And then title as a sorry, it's not title, it's a to do title. It will be the same as a to do, sorry, to do title, which is defined globally here. Okay, and the third parameter will be by default false. Okay, after doing this one, this item will be automatically added and our list will be automatically refreshed as well, because this is the state. This list is the state. If you hover on this one, you can see this is a snapshot state list, so it will have the capability to update itself automatically. After adding this, what we want to do, we want to disappear the dialog. Okay, so we'll set this show add to do dialog. So we'll set this variable to false, so that the dialog will be get disappeared. We change it to where, and I also want to set this to do title to an empty string, so that if I click again on this one, that should be rub. Okay, and I want to do both of these things if the user just cancels the alert dialog. Okay, okay, I think now we are good with the add a to do functionality. Okay, one more thing is remaining, from where this will be showing this trigger in this dialog, or after clicking on this floating action button. So first let's create this floating action button inside the scaffold. Floating action button equal to floating action button on click, and after clicking on this, I want to show a dialog. That's why I'll set this variable show to do add to dialog as a true, and it will be just a icon image vector icons dot default dot add, and content description will be add to do add. Okay, so yes, now let me rerun the application and we'll be able to see the to do floating action button here. Yes, our application has been launched, and yeah, we got the floating button here. Let me just click on this button, and yes, we are able to see our alert dialog with the title as add to do, this outline text as a with a label as a true title, and we have an add button here. So let me create a task 2, and I will just click on add, and yes, task 2 has been added, and our dialog also disabled successfully. If I just click on this add title again, then we can add a third item as well, and if I just click outside of this one, then it disables automatically. Even if I type something here and clicks outside and it get disappeared, then the next time we open up, we have this clean text field. So that's how the we have currently designed. I haven't handled some type of edge cases here, as I wanted to keep this simple. Like if first check if this box is not empty. If this box is empty and user is clicking on add, then we should give an error message. These simple things I haven't added this to avoid the more complexity. I just wanted to focus more on the core functionality. You can add these things on your own after you made complete this project and make it more clean. Okay, so now we have created this create, we already have this read. Now update and delete two functionalities are remaining. So first create a delete functionality here. After clicking on this trash icon, we will be showing some type of same type of alert dialog with the confirmation, and still user clicks on delete, then this will be automatically deleted. That's what we want to implement first. So let's implement a delete to do dialog. Now create separate composable function here, delete to do dialog. Okay, so for this one also we don't need a modifier. We'll need few things like a on cancel, and just copy pasting this thing, and on delete clicked, on delete clicked. Okay, I think these are the enough we have. So I am again creating a color dialog in this one. on dismiss request. I'll just call this on cancel, and confirm button. In this one I can just copy this from our previous dialog, just replace this add with the delete, and this function with the add delete clicked on delete clicked. Okay, uh, let me copy the title. Copy the title, sorry, and instead of add to do I'll just write delete to do as a title of the alert dialog. And now what I want, okay, in the text composable, that is the body of the alert dialog, I just want to show a text that do you want to delete this to do item. Okay. If the user still clicks on delete, then we'll trigger this on delete click function. Okay, on delete. Okay, let me uh, complete this delete, and then I'll explain both of these functions. So for the same like that, for the odd show add to do dialog, I have created a state. For the delete to do dialog also, I have to create a state to handle its visibility. So show delete to do dialog, let me set a false. And for the delete, we will be needing an item. So I will create one again variable called as where selected item, selected to do item. It will be of type to do item itself, but it will be a nullable and it will have a null value by default. Okay, so I just like this same add dialog. Below this one I just create a call this delete true dialog function. If show delete true dialog, then we'll call this delete true dialog function. Delete true dialog, and just specify all remaining arguments on cancel and on delete clicked. Okay, so on cancel, what I want to do on cancel, so show this delete true dialog as a false. Okay, for now I'll do this one itself. And now on delete clicked, I want to delete this specific item and the specified index. So how can I achieve that? Now I have this selected item, I have this selected to do item. When I click on this delete icon, then I'll do, let me go to our icon. So this is the icon of the delete. This is the delete icon, and this is the icon. In the clickable, in the on click event of this one, what I'll do, I'll set this selected to do item variable to this current item. Here I am in the lazy column, so I have access to this item variable. I'll set this selected to do item global variable as a assign this to this item. Okay, and I'll then call this I'll get this show delete to do dialog as a true. Okay, after I click on this one, this composition will happen and delete to do dialog will start getting constructed. So, and after this is cancelled, then I also want to clear this selected to do item, and that's why I'll set it as a null. On the delete click, what I should do, if the user clicks on delete, this item should delete by showing the confirmation dialog. So we are already in the confirmation dialog, and if the user clicks on delete, then the item should be deleted. So what I'll do, I'll do the same thing. I'll first get the index, and then I'll delete delete the items present at the specific index. So for the getting the index, I'll again do the same thing. Well, item index equal to to do item list dot uh, index of first, it dot id equals selected to the item dot id, and okay, we want to enclose this with a null check while item index equal to, and here we will be getting this to do item. Okay, and this to do item I'm going to assign here. Okay, now we have this item. By doing this one, we are doing the same thing. After we just check and uncheck, this is the same logic. In the to do list, we are just comparing this current to do item, current selected to do item with all of the items, and we'll get, as soon as we found a match, we will get this function will help us to get the index of that, and this index will be inserted into this variable. And now I can delete that variable safely. To do item list dot remove at, and I can just pass this item index. Okay, that's it, my work is done. After this delete, what I want to do, I want to do these two things: show delete to do dialog as a set to do, set this variable to false, so that recomposition will happen again, and as this value is this value is false, this composition will not be get triggered. And I want to do I wanted to reset this to do selected to do item, so that's why I am setting it as a null. And yes, I think we are good. Now let me just rerun the application and see if we are able to achieve the daily functionality as expected. Our application has been launched, and yes, task 1, let me create the separate another task 2. I click on add. Okay, it has been added. I want to delete this task. If I just click on this, yes, delete to do, do you want to delete this to do item, I'll just click on delete, and yes, it has been gone. Let me just create another task. Yes, task 3, add, task 4, add, task 5. We can create multiple tasks here, add, and I can delete any of these tasks. I can just check uncheck any item here. I'll just delete this first task, delete. I can delete this task 5. I can delete this task 3. Then I can add any task as a task 6. And yes, now the only functionality remaining, that is a update, that is an edit. So let us do that. Let's create, okay, for that we also have to create a dialog again, so that we'll create the same dialog just like this add, and instead of this add, it will have a edit to do, and then it will have previously filled value, and then we can edit that value and click on update. Here we want this update. So instead of creating a different value, different uh, again different alert dialog, we are going to reuse the add dialog. So we can use the same variable as well for this. Okay, we only have to do small changes here. Let's go to this add to dialog. So we have already have a function on add click. Let us create a different function, that is a on edit clicked, and also a one boolean variable as a is add. So that's why it will help us to differentiate between if it is an add case or an edit case. Now let's create a difference on the basis of this. Sorry, it will be boolean value, not a string. So it will help us to identify if this is the case of add or delete. So let's create a modifications on the basis of this add, this variable. If it is an is add, here on the confirm button, if that button, if this is a add case, then we can call this function, else we can call on edit function. Okay, similarly, if we have the add case, then we can show a confirm button as an add, else we'll show the confirm button as an update. In the title also, if we have the add case, then we will have this add to do, else we can just give edit to do. Okay, uh, here okay, here we don't need any changes. Okay, I think we are good with this one. So let's go to a calling function. Yeah, and this is giving an error because we have added two separate parameters there, which we have to provide the implementation of on edit clicked and is add. So we want to uh, specify if this is a add case or edit case. How we can specify? Simple, we have this selected to do item at the top. If the selected to do item is null, that it don't have any value, then it will be an add case. Otherwise, if it have a some value inside it, then it will be an this variable will be false. It will be an edit case. It's that simple. So on edit click, what we want to do is after user clicks on edit, then of course we will be again doing the same thing as we have done for the check. So let's go to our check logic. Let me copy this whole logic and go to the same place. On edit click, I will pasting this one. So I want to get this updated item, and instead of updated item, we don't have this uh, item here, so we will be using this selected item, which is a global variable at the top. So first do one thing, select to do item, let apply a let block, and inside this block let's do all these things. It will get this value as a to do item. So to do item dot copy, uh, I don't want this is completed. Now I want to edit, I want to create a copy, but what value I want to change, that is a title. This is a to do title. To do to do title equal to, and we already have a global variable as a this, that is a global state, that is a to do title. So I set it as a to do title. Yes, now I have this updated item copy, and I'll be using the same to do item here, this same the global variable, and after we get the index, we are just updating this item. So this same thing we are going to do in case of this on edit clicked. And after doing all of this one, what we want to do, we want to do these two things. Of course, set this variable to false so that the dialog will disappear, and to do title should we should set it as a empty string so that it will be reset. And again we want to do an additional thing, that is a selected to do item, to set it as a null so that it will also be reset. Let me just copy this and paste it on the on cancel as well. Okay, for the safety we can also add it here on the add list as well, but we don't need this here, but we can add it on the cancel. If we dismiss the dialog, we can set this selected to do item as a null. So yes, I think we are good with the edit logic as well. Okay, the only thing was remaining is, if we click on this edit icon, we have the value of the specific selected item. If we already have the title, then it should appear in our it should appear by default in our here, like if I just click on edit of this task 6, then this task 6 should come by default here. I don't have to type this word. I don't have want to type this whole title. If you already have the title, then it should come here. So for that, I just need to do only small thing. So this is the edit pane. There is a this is a edit icon. This icon, is this one. So for that, after clicking on this one, what should happen? I should do this selected assign a current value of the item to this global variable of a selected to do item. The second thing I want to do is just show add to dialog so that the edit dialog should appear. And the third thing I had to do is, if I already have a title in this item, then I should assign it to do title. We already have this state as a to do title as a global state, and I'll just assign it with the whatever I have in the current one. Okay, if I won't have any, it will not create any problem, because we are every time we are resetting it to the empty value. And now yes, we are good with this implementation. I'll just run the application again, and let us see if that functionality also works as expected. And yes, we now have task 1. I'll just create a task 2, click on add. I'll just create another task 3, add. Okay, now I want to edit this task 2. If I click on edit, yes, I got this title as edit to do, and I got this confirm button as a update now. And also the task 2 is coming by default as a pre-filled text, so I can change it to a task 4, and you can just keep an eye here. Task 2 will be converted to task 4. Just click on update, so you can see task 4 has been task 2 has been updated to task 4. You can edit any item, you can delete any item. Now we have all of the functionalities here. Task 5, I will come here, and I want to delete this task 3. Task 4 and 5 should remain. Yes, task 4 and 5 are remaining. If I click on task 5, then task 5 is there, and I can add a task 6. This is the robust implementation we have. Now we are at the step where we can perform all types of CRUD operations. Yes, you can put any number of operations. There is any number of to do items. There is no any issue with that. I can rename this task 8 to task 10 as well, 10, and it will be automatically updated. 7 to task let's say 11. Okay, my emulator is a bit slow, sorry for that. Okay, yeah, emulator is a bit slow, but that's the issue of my emulator. But yeah, code is working pretty much well. So this is how we can create a to-do list item, uh, to-do list in a Jetpack Compose. So before we close this video, if you are good, then you feel free to skip to the summary. But if you have still some doubt and want this to reiterate, then I am going to reiterate all of the things for you. Okay, so please pay close attention to this one. I am explaining the whole whatever we did from the starting. Okay, so at the starting, I want to at the starting I want to have all the properties of the task in one class. That's why I have created this to do item data class. It will have an id, to do title, and is completed checkbox state. By default I am setting it state as a false. Okay, now inside the set content I have created a specific list here, so that all of the data will be saved at a runtime in this list itself. Okay, now I am using this remember block. If you are watching this video, and then I believe you already have an idea what this remember does. And if you don't have, then I recommend you to watch my compose tutorial series. So it will help us to understand the compose from nothing to very good understanding. So I'll put the link in the description. Okay, so this I am using the remember and mutable state list of this to do items. So this is the state list. I want this to auto update, that's why I have used this mutable state list. And here I have just added this one item. You can also skip this item even if you didn't add, that's fine. At the starting I have just done this for the representation purpose. Okay, now I'll explain these states one by one. These three states we needed in our application, and this is a selected to do item variable we needed. Okay, that I'll explain later. Now this I have started the designing the UI, that's why it's a scaffold. It's modifier for used to it is asking the scaffold to take a full size, fill the maximum size. And I have created a putting action button here for the add. So I'll discuss this later. First let me show you how we are showing the items in the lazy column. We have this some modifiers and using the padding values. So we have used some variation of the this item index variation of the layout which we want to construct in the lazy column. So we this is an item and this is a to the items list. So this is the index, we get an index and an item respectively for this one. We are not using this index anywhere because this index is a vulnerable and it might create issues in our runtime application. That's why better to avoid it. And we have this item, we are using this item. This So I have created a row, and inside this row I have just arranged all the item to center and vertical. I have created a separate row here. I have created basically two entities inside this. Okay, basically I have created two big entities in this row, in this bigger row. This is a bigger row and this is a small row. So this row contains three entities. First one is this row, that is a checkbox and this title, and this second one is this edit icon. Third one is a digit icon. Okay, now inside this row uh, there is nothing much here. I have just kept a weight so that it should occupy a full space, uh, whatever the left remaining space is. Then I have aligned it center vertically. In the checkbox I have, in the checked, this checkbox needs a two values compulsorily. It's a checked if that checkbox is currently checked or unchecked. So that we will get from this item. This item is the same which we are getting from this item index. Okay, this item. So what the state of the checkbox will be, if it is checked or unchecked, that will solely depend on the whatever the value we have currently for that specific item. And so that's what it is we are doing here. We are assigning this value item dot is completed. So if it is a true, then the checked will be a true and it will become as a checked item. On checked change, this is and after user clicks on this, what will happen, if the checkbox is checked, then it will if it is true, then this new value will come as a false and vice versa. So that's why instead of just putting a negation, we are using this new value. So we get this new value after the user clicks on this one. And now we want to create a different state of this one. So in the updated I want to now I want to make a updation. Because of the Jetpack Compose framework, we cannot directly assign this specific item at the list. We cannot directly change the state of this item is checked to unchecked, true to false. We can do that, but if even if we do that, Jetpack Compose might not recognize it because it just compares the two items. Let's consider it as a containers. Even if we are changing the contents of the inside these containers, jetpack compose or jetpack compose, it will just check if this id of these two containers are same or different of this instance and next instance. If these two ids are same, then the jetpack compose will not recognize them as a changed value and it will remain the same. If we So that's why we want to change drop this container and create a copy of this container to see another one with the updated values, and then we want to replace them. At that instance, jetpack compose will understand that okay, these two containers are the different ones because these two have different IDs, and that's why compose will drop this one and will assign this at the place of a older one. So this is how Jetpack Compose works because of the optimization, and that's why we have done this logic. Well, updated at that's why we are creating a new updated item, that is a new container. And in the item, so we already have this item, it's the same item. You can see item dot copy, we are making a copy of this item. And what the copy will for the copy everything will be same, only the parameters you want to change, then you should pass here. So I want to change this is completed with this new value. Okay, so this is a copy of the existing item with an updated value. Now I want to get the index because I don't want to rely on this index, because if I just deleted this in between item, then the task list will have a different id, and using this id can give me an older id. So that conflicts or that problems can arise. That's why we are not using this id. Even if we want to scale this application later, then this id won't be able to provide us a good solution. That's why we are, whatever we are doing, we are going to this iterating through this list, all of this iterating through this list, and this item we currently have the id which we are comparing with each and every item in the list. And after that, if once the match is found, then this function, this property will get the id of that index and will assign it to the left side. That is, item index will now have a exact fair exact item, will have exact position of the actual item, so there will be no any chances of the any issues. Now we have item index. So I what I am doing is just get the list and get the position. I want to replace the item at this position with this new updated item. That's I am doing here. Got it? I hope now it's a pretty much clear. Now here is a just a text composable. This is a task or task 9 11 10 you are seeing. This is just a text composable which you are seeing, and it will also come from item.toTitle. Now outside of this outside of this row we have these two icons. This first icon is edit, the second icon is a delete. Okay, so after that we have first created a add dialog here. Okay, add true dialog. Outside the main activity we have created this composable function add true dialog. So this alert dialog is provided by the compose framework for us. It asks us to implement compulsory lambda function as on dismiss request and confirm button. Okay, so on dismiss request, what I wanted to do, I cannot do anything here because I am outside of the main activity class itself. So I don't have access to any variable function, nothing. That's why what I am doing, I am just calling this function, getting this function, calling the function, and basically I am bubbling up this click event. If a user click on this one, then I'll call this one, and whatever the lambda function is passed, this will be executed. Okay, same I am doing for the on title change and on add click. In the confirm button, this is a composable, that is a okay, this confirm button means this add button. If I click on this add button, what should do, it will come inside the on click, and it is a text also. And whatever the text we have shown here, this is code for that. And then in the title, whatever the title we have for the this dialog, then this title is there one, and this text is basically a body of this to do this dialog box. And in the body I have put a outline text field. So in the text field we have this value, whatever value we have. So value, whatever the value we want to show inside this text, inside this outline field text field, I want we are just using this value. On value change, if I just, let me just close it, open again. Okay, on the value change, as soon as I start typing here something, then it is getting shown. So whatever happening behind the scenes, if I just click on S here, then this on value change will be triggered, and we'll get this new value here as a S. Now it will get, and now it will trigger this on title change function. And this is, we are just bubbling up the step with this whatever the string we have got on title change. On title change we get this new value here. So this S we got here. So now we are assigning this S, this global state, this to do title we have created it inside, created it here at the top of the set content. This to do title is a string, is a string state of a string, because of mutable state of empty. By default it's empty, but whenever we are going to make the changes inside this one, we are updating this state every time. And as is the state, compose has the capability to recompose. So as we are going to type this, compose is repeatedly recomposing this specific composable, specific outline text, and that's why we are able to see this updated thing. And that's what exactly happening with us here. After that, add to dialog. Okay, and we understood now on title change, and this is just a label of title. Okay, So the pretty much same is of delete uh, first. So on, if we just for that, on title change we have this one. On add click, what we are going to do, we want to set an id, so we are using a current timestamp of the system as an id, because we want the ids to be unique. And then for the to do title, this is the state which we have just see at the top. We are just assigning it as a new text for this new to do item. And after doing that one, we are just resetting this to do title text, that is the state. And we are setting this variable to do show add to do dialog as false, so that after recomposition this dialog won't be composed because our value is false. And then selected to do item is a null, and that comes in an edit case. On the, if I click on outside of this one, then this on cancel gets triggered. In the on cancel also we are doing the same thing. On show add to dialog is false. That's why this recomposition won't compose this dialog again. And we are again setting this as a empty string, and then selected to the item as a null. So that's the thing we are doing. And the same thing we are doing for the edit case. For the edit case, we are again doing the same logic with this one, but which we have done the same logic for the checked. But instead of, for the checked one, we were already in a in this lazy column, so that's why we had access to this item. But as we don't have access directly to this item, we are outside of the that's lazy column. We want the access of this currently selected item. And how we can do get that? That's the only one, that there is only way to do that, that is a create a separate variable here as a selected to do item, and set current. And whenever user clicks on the edit button, then we are inside this lazy column here, then take this item and assign to this global variable as a selected to do item. So, and show this to do, add to do dialog, that is a edit dialog. And also set this to do title, that is a string, state of string. This is the one which we have already discussed just now. We are again setting this as a whatever we have in the current item. So after clicking on this one, now we have this to do title as well, and this selected to do item as well. So whenever there is an edit case, we have the we come here on edit click, and on edit click we have the selected to do item instead of the just the item. And we are doing the same thing. We are just instead of the checkbox, we are creating a copy of this currently selected item, and we are just replacing this to title with the new title. And we are extracting the index with the same process, and we are updating the list, the specific the item in the list with this updated item, with this updated to do title, and it got saved. And after that we are just resetting this variable. Selected to do item also we are setting it as null, that is resetting. And is add case, in case of it is a delete case, then sorry, edit case, then this selected to do item will have some value. We can on edit click, on click of this pen icon, we are setting this global variable with the value of the current variable. And if we are just clicking on this plus button, then this selected to do item will be reset as a null already, then it won't have any another value. And we are that's why we are computing it, and it will be none, and that's why it will come is add as a true. And whenever we go to construct that to do true dialog, is add will be true or false depending on the selected item. So if it's an add, then we are triggering this on add click. If it's an edit case, we are triggering this on edit click function. Same case is here. We are assigning the separate titles for the button, and separate titles for the dialog as well. So yeah, we are doing the same thing for an update. Now let me just quickly explain the delete scenario. In the delete, it's pretty much simple. We have just this show delete to do dialog. we have created a separate boolean state again for this delete, and on cancel we are resetting this one, and even when we are clicking on delete, we are setting this selected to do item global variable with the current item, and because that's what we are going to use. And in the to do delete to do dialog, on delete click, we are getting the index with the same process, and we are just doing this thing. We are using a remove at function, and we are using the item, so that this item which is currently selected, and we'll get that exact position, and we'll remove the item at that exact position. And here we are resetting the variables. So this is how we have created a to-do list application with the help of Jetpack Compose, including all the CRUD functionalities. I hope now you have a crystal clear understanding of all the things, because I have put so much of effort and so much of time in explaining each and every detail. So I hope now you have a crystal clear understanding of this concept. If you still have some doubts, then I request you to go and rewatch the video, so that you will get a more understanding. It will definitely help you to make your concepts clear. If you still have some doubts, or you are stuck, or you want something to discuss with me, then you can put your comments in the comment box below, and I will try my best to answer those. Alternatively, you can also join a WhatsApp group of AshishMobileDev, where similar like-minded Android developers are there to help you, and you will also get a chance to get that help directly from me. If you like this video, then please click on like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so that you will be notified whenever a new video is published. We'll meet in the next tutorial with some another interesting topic. Till then, goodbye.